Win a 21-piece bucket with KFC Malkins. Simply buy a Streetwise 2. Write your name and contact number on the back of your till receipt and put your receipt in the entry box provided in the store.
A very good evening, Eswatini, and welcome to the 8 p.m. news broadcast brought to you by Eswatini TV. My name is Nondobego Nzabgelogo. Let's take a look at tonight's headlines. His Majesty King Mswati III has expressed his heartfelt condolences on the sudden passing of His Excellency Mr. Lee Khan Piau. The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, says the over 1 million emalangeni allocated to benefit MSMEs in the post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan will also benefit the youth. The Public Accounts Committee has called on the Ministry of Finance to restructure government procurement processes. And now for the news. His Majesty King Mswati III has expressed his heartfelt condolences on the sudden passing of His Excellency Mr. Lee Khan Piau, who was the former General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party.
On behalf of His Majesty King Mswati III, Her Majesty the Queen Mother, the government and the people of Eswatini, the Prime Minister Ambrose Mandvulo Dlamini has expressed heartfelt condolences on the sudden passing of His Excellency Mr. Lee Khan Piau, former General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Vietnam. The Prime Minister says, remembering the valuable contribution that the former General Secretary made in the party, his passing presents an opportunity to celebrate an accomplished life spent on the service of Vietnam. The Prime Minister says he hopes that God Almighty will comfort the family, friends and relatives during the hour of bereavement. For Eswatini TV News, I am LinkedIn Kule in Babane.
The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, says the over 1 million emalangeni allocated to benefit micro, small and medium enterprises in the post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan will also benefit the youth. The minister said this when explaining how the over 5.3 billion emalangeni allocated to the ministry will be used.
Last week, Friday, the Prime Minister Ambrose Dlamini presented the 30 billion emalangeni post-COVID-19 recovery plan. The Ministry of Agriculture was allocated over 5 billion emalangeni for the development of the agricultural sector to ensure food security in the country. The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, has encouraged the youth to grab the opportunity which will come with the start of capital projects by government and the private sector. The minister says an amount of over 151 million emalangeni has been set aside to benefit SMEs and the youth. Mabuza says if government invests in capital projects, it's automatic that small business owners will benefit.
Buhle balama project lamakhulu ngokuthi naseyendeka le project le benefits imvamisa yesikhathi iya kulama small scale farmers. Le mali lokhuluma ngayo ngiyethemba ibalelwa kubo 151 million if I'm not mistaken. Ngokuthi itawusita bosomabhizinisi labancane sisho lokho ukuthi uma ngabe sakha dam sekudawuba nedingaphane talabo somabhizinisi labancane labakuleyo area bese leto dingaphane setiyangena la kule ndzaba yekulima mhlawumbe sebalima banana mhlawumbe sebalima ama vegetables mhlawumbe sebalima yini kudawube kusitakala ke labo somabhizinisi labancane ngaleyo ndlela leyo vele ke la ka agriculture imvamisa yakhona yonke nje iprojects le ndiwako sikhathi lesinengi iyaba benefit available somabhizinisi labancane ngoba noma ngabe wakha dam but kodwa kudabe sekuba ke nalama downstream development lendeka kodwa nalelo dam in most cases kusitakala labo somabhizinisi labancane vele kuphindze kusitakale bantu labasha.
The 2017 FinScope study says 27% of local micro, small and medium enterprises are owned by the youth who have limited business experience. To counter this gap, government in the post-COVID-19 recovery plan will create special industrial zones in cities, a program that seeks to ensure that the youth takes advantage of different economic opportunities. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, I'm Nelsuwe Ndlangamandla in Babane.
The Public Accounts Committee has called on the Ministry of Finance to restructure government procurement processes. This was said by the committee chairperson, Phila Buthelezi.
The Public Accounts Committee chairperson Phila Buthelezi has raised concerns about the government procurement process. Buthelezi says the current process has too much red tape and loopholes, which have resulted in the state losing millions of emalangeni in the process.
The tendering process ihamba tigaba tendrendandlen letineng leukanza isiletinye talete dandla sithulehlobile ngiyakholwa ungufakazi siwabonela ama-cases lamanene bantu ba-aphila ku-award bema-tenders nakuthenga le mpahla yahulumende ukhanza le price letinye taletinto isetulu kwaloyo ikhanza esitolo.
Buthelezi also explained that the work of the committee has yielded positive results. He also spoke about the opinion of the Chief Justice about the Anti-Corruption Commission in 2016, which he says have grounded the commission.
And it was good to note that in the Ministry of Public Service we have recovered more than $500,000 from those who were awarded previous scholarships, which is a good sign. Money is coming back to government, even though we cannot be able to recover everything that was lost. But as we are meeting the ministries every day, we will be getting the report on how much has been recovered from the losses. And we do expect to get updates from the police service on the anti-corruption, on the arrests which have been made, if there are any, and any prosecutions, if any have been carried out, which obviously will serve as a deterrent to would-be fraudsters or criminals who want to loot money from government.
On Monday, the committee attended to 5 government ministries. These are private and cabinet offices, Parliament, Anti-Corruption Commission, Police, as well as the Ministry of Public Service. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Ndlangamandla, Mbabane.
The Church Forum on HIV and AIDS has trained household heads, including parents from different areas, on the Comprehensive Sexuality Education Manual, which has been adopted by the organization to help rectify the effects of mixed messaging on issues related to adolescents and the choices they make on their sexual and reproductive health rights as they grow. Church Forum coordinator Xolani Magongo says young people are exposed to different forms of messages on how to handle themselves as they grow, which becomes confusing for some of them.
Parents from different churches at Malkent, Ezulwini, Luyengo and surrounding areas were treated to a training session on recommended ways of engaging with their adolescent children according to principles of the Holy Scriptures and with reference to a new comprehensive sexuality education manual adopted by the Church Forum on HIV and AIDS. The workshop was held at the George Hotel in Manzini, where coordinator at the Church Forum, Xolani Magongo, reaffirmed the organization's commitment to placing emphasis on upholding good spiritual values, yet still taking into cognizance the effects of the mixed messages received by the youth from different sources. One of the parents who attended the training session, Cebile Mdluli from the St. Mark's Anglican Church at Lutze, says modern-day parents often get so confused by their children's behavior that such sessions then become important for parents. She says, unlike in the past, children nowadays get to know about sex and sexual behaviors too early in their lives that it gets frustrating for parents to handle them and to positively contribute to their growth.
Noma sekakubuta letinye tintfo lesekuphethelene netekulala sengiyakhona ukuthi ngingamphendula ngayiphi indlela ngingabi ngiloku ngithi umntwana uyathengwa yimtshele leliciniso njengoba linjalo.
The training session held by the Church Forum with parents follows a similar workshop the organization had with pastors. The organization has further scheduled similar sessions with young people. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengwendlovu with Mbongwa Dube at Manzini.
Ngwane Park Youth and Training Center has introduced online learning at their college. The principal, Philman Mahlalela, says they have switched to this technology due to the demand and the current situation caused by the COVID-19 pandemic that has forced society to do things virtually.
The principal, Philman Mahlalela, says they have been doing things backwards, hence the decision to switch to technology, especially because online learning is available in many tertiary institutions, so they felt it was time to upgrade.
The advent of COVID has then pressed us that we should accelerate this intervention.
He says potential students are showing interest and there are already 50 students that have registered.
A week or two ago, yesterday we met 15 students who have now registered for 4 different programs, and they are still coming in. They are still phoning. 2 of them just this morning were here. Some were calling me this morning.
He says the online courses will be available even post-COVID. He says the courses are not only available to the youth, but anyone who is interested to enroll with them is welcome. Reporting, I'm Lungilele Makakula with Mbongwa Dube in Manzini.
The Family Life Association of Eswatini, FLAS, has unveiled the organization's plans of constructing a new multi-purpose hospital in Mbabane, which will cost over 158 million emalangeni. Acting FLAS Executive Director Bongani Msibi says the hospital is expected to fill existing gaps in the provision of different health services in Mbabane.
While the kingdom's capital city of Mbabane has a number of hospitals and clinics, yet still the Family Life Association of Eswatini FLAS has identified huge gaps in the provision of health services like care for pregnant women and their babies and other forms of health care for the people of Mbabane and surrounding areas. Acting FLAS Executive Director Bongani Msibi says the new clinic, which they propose to construct, will be constructed where the old FLAS clinic is and will serve as a multi-purpose, one-stop shop, not only for those seeking different sexual and reproductive rights health services, but also for patients in need of other health services.
As an organization, from time to time we reflect on the national documents, reports, which are giving us the indication that about 452 per 100,000, that is the maternal mortality rate, that are the women who die. Then also there is the neonatal mortality rate, which is at 20 per 1,000. So, and also there is a growing concern from our clients for services which we are not able to provide them into the maximum currently in the current structure. These and other factors have prompted the organization to take a strategic long-term goal of therefore investing towards the construction of a new clinic in Mbabane. The maternity, of course, and also gynecology services, as well as other services, because this will be a multi-purpose kind of a clinic, which will suit also the times that we're living in, to embrace technology and innovations.
Msibi says the Family Life Association of Eswatini is of the view that as the country braces itself for an economic leapfrog through the implementation of plans like the post-COVID-19 economic recovery strategy, it is also important to ensure that the healthcare needs of the populace are adequately met. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengwendlovu with Mbongwa Dube at Manzini.
Save the Children has capacitated trainers of caregivers on the importance of child protection in communities and the role they can play in decreasing domestic violence. The training was held at the George Hotel in Menzini.
The training of trainers of caregivers has been financially assisted by the European Union, and Save the Children is in partnership with UNESCO to run this project. This training is to ensure the safety of children all over the country in all communities. Therefore, it is crucial that caregivers are sensitized on ways to successfully look after a child and also have the skill to notice a child that is being harassed, be it sexually or physically. The trainers being trained will then disseminate the information they have gained during this training to caregivers in the various communities.
This project is aimed at enhancing child protection. Today we are capacitating trainers of caregivers to ensure that the knowledge that they have or the knowledge that we are giving them will be appropriate or will help them as they ensure that children are growing well, as they ensure that children are protected from all forms of abuse. This project is here to capacitate all caregivers in the Kingdom of Eswatini. The project is known as Training of Caregivers Nationwide for OVC in the Kingdom of Eswatini.
He says this project is for a good cause and he hopes that many children will be assisted. Reporting, I'm Lungelele Makakula with Mbongwa Dube in Manzini.
Let's take a look at our sports news. Oyama Kai karate athlete Eswatini Mdluli says Oyama athletes should train all the time even when there are no immediate games coming up. Mdluli was speaking during a training session in Babane.
Oyama karate is among the sporting courts that are still suspended from playing as they are considered to be high risk in the transmission of the coronavirus. Athletes who play the sport of karate are not discouraged though, as they are still continuing with their training, trying to keep in shape. Eswatini Mdluli, who is all hard in training, says karatekas should train at all time. Mdluli says training is important even if you won't be competing anytime soon. In the sport, they believe that training is very key. The only challenge they are facing for now is that they cannot train in groups, but they try to share ideas on how to train effectively, and that helps everyone stay in shape. Mdluli concluded by encouraging new athletes in the sport to keep at it and not give up, as he believes that with time they will be soon back into competing. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizo Msibi, Babane.
The National Director for Special Olympics, Ndombi Ngambule, says they'll be having some games this year, but they'll be concentrating on other projects that include training coaches and volunteers and a new virtual sport that they'll be participating in.
The Special Olympics Association says even though some of their sporting courts fall under those classified as low risk to transmit the novel coronavirus, they will not be returning to the field of players yet. The National Director of the association, Ndombi Ngambule, says they will instead use this time to continue with some of the programs, including training of coaches, and also introduce new virtual games designed for the Special Olympics athletes.
Going forward, we plan to do a training for a new sport that we have introduced for athletes. We are going to train our coaches, getting them ready when we return to some of our activities that we have suspended. We are also helping our athletes to stay fit at home by providing them with these cards. These are called Fit 5 cards. It's a way of staying fit, training 5 times a week. We have the trainings and even pictures to help the athletes understand what is going on. We are also going to participate in a virtual competition that is hosted by Special Olympics International. Our athletes are going to participate in that together with our coaches. We also have a planned and funded FHF Family Health Forum that we are going to host at the end of August and mid.
Gambule says they will continue to find lasting solutions on how they can go back into full competition without putting their athletes in any danger of contracting the virus. She concluded by encouraging their athletes to continue training at home and that their guidance should help them out. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizwe Msibi. Babane.
We will now take a look at the COVID-19 update from the Ministry of Health. The Minister of Health would like to inform the public of the status of COVID-19 in Eswatini. A total of 419 results were received today, of which 95 tested positive. The total number of COVID-19 confirmed cases to date is 3,989. Looking at the status of COVID-19 cases, active cases are 1,231, recoveries are 2,587, deaths are 76, those that are registered for care are 95, which brings our total to 3,989. Looking at the cumulative confirmed cases by region, Manzini region has 1,803 COVID-19 cases, Hoho has 1,595 confirmed cases, Shiselweni has 316 cases, Lubombo has 275 confirmed cases of COVID-19. That brings us to the end of our news bulletin, but first let's take a quick recap of the headlines. His Majesty King Eswatini III has expressed his heartfelt condolences on the sudden passing of His Excellency Mr. Lee Kanpiau. The Minister of Agriculture, Jabulani Mabuza, says the over 1 million emalangeni allocated to benefit MSMEs in the post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan will also benefit the youth. The Public Accounts Committee has called on the Ministry of Finance to restructure government procurement processes. Eswatini, that is all the news we had for you tonight. Up next is the weather forecast. Good night and God bless.
Everywhere you go, MTN.